Hi and welcome to another preview from the Spring 2013 edition of Project Parade at StampAcademy.com. Today's project is a little mini album that was decorated using some of the embellishments from the Pop-Up Posies designer kit. This is also from the 2013 Spring Mini. And to get started, we're going to show you how to assemble this and then also how to decorate it. We are going to begin by using several different pieces from that set. I've laid them out for you here so that you can get a better view of exactly which ones you need. And if you notice, as you flip through the pages, you have these cutouts on alternating pages. So we're going to use the Hearts of Flutter framelit set to cut those out. To begin, we're going to take those little cutouts and we're going to be putting them on our score tool, and we're going to be scoring them at just about a ½ inch. And that's going to create the binding for your little booklet. So you're just going to make a little score line down the ½ inch mark on each one of these pieces. Once you have that done, you're going to stack them all together, make sure that they're even. I'm going to turn them over, and then right here at this little curve mark, I'm just going to go between that line and the score line, and I'm just going to poke a hole. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. Now you may want to make that hole a little bit bigger. And then you can thread that through any way you'd like. We've used a large needle and just threaded it through. So once you get your twine through on your needle, you're just going to pull it through and then bring it back up the other side, because we're just going to tie a knot. So once you get that done, you can just take it out of the needle, and then you're actually just going to tie it in a little bow. Once you get your little bow tied, what you're going to do is just fray those edges by pulling them apart. That just gives it more of a vintage feel. Now you're going to stamp Just For You in Stays On black ink, and that comes as part of the set. It's a wood mount, so you could go ahead and put your label on, then put it on your block and adhere it. What I did was I converted it to a clear stamp, and you can see that in our free video section. So here it is. I've mounted it on a clear block, and I am going to ink this up and stamp it right onto the front of my project. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to die cut the tags from the Hearts of Flutter framelit set. And so we're going to be using this banner and this banner. When we use framelits, we use a closed multi-purpose platform and a cutting plate. You're going to put your cardstock on top of that, and then you're going to place your framelits on top of your cardstock. And I'm going to cut 2 at a time here. So I'm going to move this over, so we're going to use as little paper as possible. And then, so your cutting ridge, this little ridge here, is side down. And then we're going to sandwich them in between another cutting plate, and we're going to run this whole thing through the Big Shot. I'm then going to take those framelits and a Calypso Coral ink pad, and I'm just going to sponge around that and my flowers as well. I'm going to take my Pool Party, and I am going to sponge across my flowers. And again, across all of my little banners. I'm going to pile all of my flowers on top of each other, put them on top of my pad, use my paper piercer to make a hole. Put that aside for a moment. You're going to take a piece of Calypso Coral cardstock, and you're just going to use one of your punches from the Little Labels punch pack, and you're going to punch out a little piece there. And then you're going to take your sponge, and you're going to sponge all the way around again. And sponging is a great little way to add a little bit of texture without having to do much work. So what you're going to do is you're going to hang on to this. You're going to put a hole right there in the center, and then put that right in there, and then you're going to get your little ivory brad from your designer kit and put that in the center, and then you're going to use that to spread the legs, and you're going to just bend those little petals to make them look more realistic. Once you have that done, you can take a little piece of sticky strip. And because it's on the cover, I'm going to use sticky strip. If it was on a card or something, I might just use some glue dots, but I want to make sure that this stays intact. So I'm going to put a piece of sticky strip right on here. Use my sticky scissors to cut that. And then I'm going to just take that adhesive backing off you're going to go to your project and you're just going to adhere your flower right there in the upper left-hand corner. I've used my small butterfly punch to punch out a couple of Tea for Two Designer Series paper butterflies, and then I'm just going to sponge around the edges of each one. And I'm going to use the edges here of my Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm just going to clip a little piece off of this here, and I'm going to use that one to attach the top butterfly to the bottom butterfly. So I'll put that right there in the center, take off the adhesive backing, and then I'm just going to bend the wings a little bit here, and I'm going to adhere that right on top. Put that aside for now. And now we're going to go to our first page. So you're going to bend right there on that little binding page. And for the first page, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking one of these scalloped banners here, and then we're going to adhere one of these scalloped banners over the top of it. So I'm just going to do that with a little bit of snail adhesive. And I want this down here at the bottom. Now when I adhere this to my project, I'm going to put some snail on the back of it, but I'm actually going to just put it here, and then I'm going to turn my project over, and then I'm going to use my paper snip to just trim around both of those banners so that they're lined up correctly with the curved part of my page. For the next page, so I did my Calypso and then I did Pool Party. So this time I'm going to do the opposite. I'll do Pool Party on the bottom, Calypso on the top. So again, I'm going to put some snail adhesive on the back here, and then I'm going to adhere one over the top of the other. And it doesn't matter if those edges line up on the top. I want to make sure that it lines up down here. I'm going to put some snail on the back here, and then I'm going to put this going into the project from this side. Once that's adhered, I'm going to again flip this over, and I'm going to use my paper snips to cut this so that it follows the line of the paper again. So for the last page, I'm going to be adhering the Pool Party on top of the Calypso, and I've just alternated these. You could certainly do any pattern that you want. And then again, I'm going to put adhesive on the back here, and I'm going to place this at the bottom here. And once again, flip it over and trim your edges. So now to decorate the butterflies, just take a piece of baker's twine and just tie it over, and it kind of looks like they're little antennas, and then put a couple of glue dots on the back of it and adhere it to the front of your project. Now to decorate, I'm going to take a stamp set called Ciao Baby. We're going to be using a couple of the little greetings. This one is Ciao, and this one says You're Swell. This is from the Spring Mini catalog. And we're going to go back to our Pool Party and Calypso pads. I've gone ahead and mounted those with a clear mount, and I'm just going to stamp this right here on some very vanilla cardstock. I'm going to do the other one in Calypso. Now you can hand cut these, or if you'd like, you can wait for the Celebration Mini catalog, at which time there will be a little mini punch that's going to cut those out. And we're going to turn both of those over, and we're going to put a Stampin' Dimensional on the back of them. Okay, so on the first page, we're just going to put the orange greeting on top of the Pool Party. For the second page, we have our little butterfly punch, another one that we did. We're going to take another Stampin' Dimensional and put that right there on the back of our butterfly. And you want to make sure that it's not sticking out. If it is, just take your scissor and just trim it. And then you're going to remove the adhesive backing from that. And you are going to put that right there. And then go to the last page, and you're going to put Ciao. When you're through, you have this really cute little mini album project. You can put little photos or little sayings or poems or greetings in there. That's another preview project for you from the Spring 2013 edition of Project Parade at stampacademy.com. If you like what you see, come over and check us out. It's 25 projects for under $25. It begins January 10th. You can join anytime and catch up on the projects. And if you have any questions for us, you can reach us at mail@stampacademy.com.